Welcome to the Lost and Found podcast. I'm your host, Amanda. Join me each week as I rediscover my life's meaning, my passions, and my place in this world after leaving behind the only dream I've ever known. If you are dealing with self-loss, identity changes, career transitions, or you are still trying to figure out your life's purpose, then you're not alone. Join me. Wanderers are always welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lost and Found podcast. This is your host, Amanda. So happy to be here and happy 4th of July if you're in America and you celebrate Independence Day. My family and I, we certainly do. We're deeply rooted in fans and learning all about American history and celebrating that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we've always been very patriotic family. We've got a lot of 4th of July plans, mostly just fireworks and eating burgers and hot dogs. I am at my parents' house right now, so you can see if you're on YouTube watching, it's a very different background, and that's because this is not my house. But yeah, so we have a whole lot of work to do in general. I feel like I moved here a month ago now, and it's over a month ago. I've been here, I guess, about 6 weeks maybe in Kingsport, and oh my gosh, we haven't stopped. We have not stopped from the day I moved in to unpacking to going straight back to work to podcast stuff to traveling for interviews to my big news to announce. If you haven't seen it or followed me on social media, my brother and my sister-in-law had their first baby. And so baby Jackson Bond Powers II was born on June 30th, 1:37 a.m. And he's so sweet and cute, as my brother is very proud, has a big old head, hands and feet. Truly, his little feet are quite long, and his toes too. But he's absolutely adorable. Born healthy, 7 pounds, 14 ounces, 19 inches long. Mom is great, doing great. They're all at home. He did have to use like the suction power to help him get out eventually. So they had to monitor his little head for a few days afterwards, after the birth. But he's doing great, growing well, eating well, sleeping well. So again, he's only 4 days old. So how much trouble can he really cause yet? But everybody seems to be very happy and healthy. And so we're super grateful for that. So that's been going on. So last week, I was supposed to release the week that he was born, Friday the 27th, I was supposed to release an episode. I was going to do like an hour and I had like a planned out outline and everything for the topics I wanted to cover. And I thought it'd be really good. But when I finally had the time to sit down and get that done, we were told, oh my gosh, my water broke. And so that Saturday, the 28th, we all got in the car, left, went straight to the hospital to be with Lee. And it took 36 more hours before Bond came into the world. But we are so happy and so grateful. Doing all of that blurred pretty much all of my time together. And so I haven't had much time to sit down and get back into the groove of podcasting. So I've been off the grid a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you've been handling your own mindfulness and you're not missing the mantras and the Wanderer Wisdom Wednesdays as much, but I will get back to it as best I can. Since today is the day of recording this, it is the 4th of July. I am with my family, so today's episode's really not going to be long. This is strictly just like a check-in to see how everybody's doing and let you know what's been going on. There's no method to the madness today, no pivoting support, really. The only thing I can kind of relate to right now is just that feeling of being overwhelmed. And sometimes being overwhelmed is a stress trigger, right? Like you're overwhelmed because there are so many crazy, chaotic, bad things happening. But my overwhelm right now, to help me keep it in perspective, my overwhelm right now is all privileged overwhelm, right? Like I have a full-time job that is just in a busy season. So that's happening. The podcasting, I am learning to get better at editing. I've downloaded different softwares. I'm trying to fix the learning curve on being a graphic designer and working through a couple of those things, audio engineering. So like I'm self-induced overwhelmed by that. I got back some news from my website developer. So we have been editing the website and trying to get that up. So draft number 1 of the website was live. And so I had to work on editing all that after hours after my job. And so there's just a bit of learning curve overwhelm. And so I know that a lot of the stress that I'm feeling right now is it's purposeful and self-induced. And so that's why I'm trying to caveat this statement right now is that I have a lot going on, but I know that it is privileged overwhelm for me. So I drove over last night after work to be with my family today, so that way I didn't bother with driving today instead. So I spent the night, finished work for the week, spent the night with my parents, and today I'm doing more work, more podcast edits, more training, and then we'll eat together. But they also are busy. They're out doing housework and chores and errands and cooking and cleaning and organizing their own house because they have not had a chance to stop either since the move. They went to Europe in April for 3 weeks, came back, picked up their dog, went home for 1 week, moved out of the house that I live in now, out of Mimi's house, moved into their new house, which was an Airbnb. So they had to clear out all the Airbnb furniture. Then they came back for my sister's kids' graduation. So they came back for graduation. Then my mom stayed for about, 5-6 days to help me pack. We packed, moved, and then somewhere in there was also the baby shower for Lee and Jackson. So yeah, there's been so much just in the last 6 weeks alone. And I'm about to leave, obviously not this weekend, but this coming weekend. So July 12th through the 14th, I'll be in Atlanta because I'm going to the Beyonce concert. Oh yeah, gonna go see Beyonce with my bestie, Maya. She was one of my college roommates. I would love to get her and Portia on the pod. I don't know if they would be open to that. Not everybody. Let me say this. A lot of my friends support my show. They're proud of me. They, tell me that they can see I've grown so much or that all these different things have changed about me and stuff like that, but that they personally would not ever be on a podcast. And that's completely fine. It's not everybody's cup of tea to be so public beyond their own social media pages. So being on the internet, on a video, recorded, they're not their hype. However, Portia and Maya saved me at Ole Miss. I had a really bad first 3 months roommate when I got assigned to the Honors College housing, and we did not get along. There was a really bad miscommunication, I think, within the first couple of days of us moving in there, and it completely turned that individual off about ever wanting to be friends with me. And I didn't know that. So I'm just living my life, moving around, beep bopping, being an idiot, trying to study for biology. And the whole time my roommate just hated me, absolutely hated me. And I eventually moved out of the room to be somewhere else because I was, calling my parents all the time. I made such a mistake. I shouldn't have gone to Ole Miss. I should have gone to UT Knoxville with all my other friends. Why did I branch out? What was I thinking? This is horrible. Can I transfer? And they bless my parents for being smart enough to negotiate. Hey, just wait the semester out. If it's that bad, you can leave in the spring or something like that. I don't fully remember if it was 1 semester or 1 year, but I'm betting you because they already paid for the first semester. They were like, your scholarships are already done. The money's gone. The 5 months are paid for. Please please go through with this. But anyway, long story short, I move into a new room a couple floors up in that same building, but Portia and Maya became my new roommates and they absolutely saved me. I stayed with them for the remainder of freshman year, all of sophomore year, and then I think both Portia and I moved off campus in junior and senior year. But anyway, I love them so much and they were such a core memory for me for the rest of my life. Maya ended up living with her family and moving back up to closer to Memphis. And so every now and then we would see each other when Beyonce would be on tour. And so the first time Beyonce came to Nashville as an adult, I don't know if she ever did when I was younger, but as an adult to be able to buy my own concert ticket and do that, I went and saw her with Maya, which was amazing. And then saw her again on my own separately with my sister for the Lemonade tour. And then Maya did Renaissance, and now I'm doing the Cowboy Carter tour with her. So we will have seen Beyonce together 3 times, and we saw Lizzo in Nashville together, and let's see what else. And Megan Thee Stallion in Memphis. And so she's been my concert buddy for forever. And we always get epic, as close to the front row or in the pit type tickets together. So for Beyonce in Atlanta, I think it's going to be wild. Just straight wild. But I can't wait. I'm so excited. Atlanta's fun and there's so much to do and see, and the food is amazing, mostly because I follow everything that Heather McMahon ever says and does in that town. So I'm going to try and see if we can I don't know if we can get reservations at Yepa. We can try and get into Yepa. That'd be really cool. But we'll see. So that's coming up next weekend. So I have a podcast that will come out this coming Friday. So Friday the 10th, that'll be a new interview for you guys. I'll do recordings probably tomorrow or Sunday for the Monday mantra. We'll get back into the groove. Monday mantra, I have questions in my inbox for the Wanderer Wisdom episode, so that'll come out. And then let's see, and then I'll leave for the concert, and then I'm going to be in Nashville for work and for podcast interviews at various times throughout that week. So we're trying to do some more in-person things. So you'll start to see there will be less interviews that are virtual, not on purpose or anything like that, but just that I know that when you meet in person, the vibe is just, you can't replicate an in-person interview virtually sometimes unless you know that person really well already and you have a rapport built up. It's harder to you can do virtually and eventually build a friendship, I think, or you can meet in person and you can actually assess each other and what's their handshake like, what's their energy like, what's their cadence and how they talk and their body language movements, and are they comfortable in their chair and all that kind of stuff. And like, you can't replicate the banter that can come from a live episode. And the 2 episodes that I did in Nashville at the Lagos Creative before I moved, those have performed the best on YouTube as well. So it's the cost of the game right now. You want to play the game and you want to do interviews. So if that's the case for this podcasting thing, you got to find a way to afford more public in-person interviews. So we'll see how that goes. That's kind of where I'm at right now. That's happening. And then I'll be gone for that week in Nashville. Got a bunch of doctor's appointments, a lot of work appointments and interview appointments. And then I'll be back no later than the 20th, I guess. And then home for about a week and a half. Go squeeze baby Bond a little bit. Go see him. Go see my sister-in-law. Hang out and cook for them, clean for them, help them out a bit. And then my mom as well. She'll be there because she's a grandma now, so she's super excited. But do that, and then I'm leaving for the Bad Bunny concert. Which, if you are not a Lost and Found fan, go back to my January. I'm pretty sure it was January at some point, or possibly the very first episode in February. But I was live recording when Bad Bunny released his residency tickets for Puerto Rico. And originally, the way that they were advertised was that they were only going to be released for Puerto Ricans. And so if you lived in Puerto Rico, had an address there, could prove access, they would get priority access, which 100% should be done, makes sense, absolutely. But they opened for non-residents, and I was in the middle of recording the episode, and I paused the episode for like 10 minutes to actually make sure I could log in, get off the wait list, buy the tickets, secure the hotel, secure the VIP access, all that kind of stuff. And then I jumped back on and I was like, I just bought myself my birthday present. So my birthday present is coming to fruition in August. And we are going with my friend Vidisha, who was also a guest on this podcast. Go back and listen to her episode. I'll link that too. I'll find the links so you guys can have those. I'll add that to the show notes there. But I'm so excited. So there's so much more coming, so much more stuff happening all the time, everywhere. So I keep telling myself, like, when am I gonna catch a break? When am I gonna slow down? When? Honestly, I don't know. But I think sometimes you have to keep things into perspective that, like, this is the life that it's hard to complain, right? Despite having the overwhelmed privilege, it's hard to complain about something when this is the life that you asked for. You know, I've always dreamed now, or at least the last couple of years now, have dreamed about having a more flexible life. A life where I could be with my family more often, where I could support them in different ways, where I could be more of a contributor or provider or whatever. And also wanting to have the flexibility to be able to travel and to be able to enjoy my life and not just be strapped to a desk, metaphorically, and like making somebody else's dreams come true for forever instead of figuring out what are mine and how do I help those happen. So it's been a wonderful few weeks, a lot of growth crammed into a finite amount of time, but a very important time. Summer has been really kicked off from the start, and I think it's only going to get faster and better as we move forward. So that's really all I've got right now in terms of genuine updates. I wasn't really going to go into a deep report or birth story for Bond, since that's not my story to tell. If Lee ever wants to come back on the show, I will ask her and see if she'd be interested in something like that. But if not, then that's okay. But essentially everything's good. Everybody's healthy. I'm busy as hell. I'm feeling very patriotic. It's some of my most favorite time of year, you know, spending the summer in red, white, and blue. I do love me a red, white, and blue outfit. I bleed red, white, and blue. If you know me at all, I actually have 2 different sides of my closet. My closet, one door opens and it's all the workout clothes and it's all like dark black, blues, greens. And then on the other side of my closet's my regular everyday clothes and it's all cotton and blue and jeans and red and white tops in some form or fashion. I'm classic. I'm a classic, plain primary color girly. Anyway, but this has probably been the most random episode you'll ever listen to in the entire library of Amanda Powers edits, but that's really all I've got. I promise I haven't abandoned the show. Nothing's wrong. We haven't stopped. It's just things are on hold. And while I'm living in a life where everything's flexible and I'm in the overwhelmed privilege stage of my summer right now, some things have to be let go. And one of those things is making a perfect show. I'm never going to make a 100% perfect show, but I think I've proven to myself enough that I want this badly enough that I don't need to keep trying to prove it to myself that I'm going to let this go or that I'm going to fall behind or that I'm going to fail myself yet again by not giving it my all. And the truth is, I can give it my all in spurts right now. I can do little sprints. I cannot do a full marathon straight through. I don't have the time, right? I can't do a steady pace of stuff. Like I can do spurts of, all right, I have 2 hours today. Let's edit something. I've got 3 hours here. Let me create something here. Like that's kind of how I have to spend my life right now. And so if I don't get 3 episodes out a week, am I going to die? No. Are you going to die as a listener, as a wanderer? No. You might, miss me a little bit, but that's okay. I'll always be back. I'm not going to abandon you. I promise, because there's nothing worse when you're feeling lost or like you haven't been able to pivot correctly and you want to look up to somebody else that's done it or somebody else that you admire or somebody else that's created a life that you want to create for yourself. When they disappear, it can suck. So I promise it's not a disappearing moment. It's just an overwhelmed moment. So we'll get back to it. We'll go back in a rhythm as soon as I can. I'm going to schedule everything else in. After August, there are no explicit trips. So we are just smooth sailing for now. But anyway, love you, mean it, guys. I'm going to go. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Have a wonderful Independence Day. Happy Independence Day. If you are not celebrating, that is also okay too. That is your right. That is what freedom is for. Your right to believe what you would like to believe, practice what you would like to practice, and embrace what you would prefer to embrace. You are able to agree with one another and you are able to disagree with one another because those rights are protected, and as they should be. So everybody, for those celebrating, happy 4th of July. For those doing something else, have a wonderful day. And remember, like, subscribe, leave a review, hit those 5 stars. Let me know what you love about the show. Let me know what you'd like me to add. If there's a guest you think I should invite to come on, if there's another topic that hasn't been covered yet that you're really curious about, send me an email, hello@podcastforthelost.com. If you just have a quick DM kind of question, you can hit me up on Instagram. You can leave comments on YouTube, leave comments on the Spotify episodes directly. I will also leave a link in the description for an anonymous messenger if you would rather not have me know who you are, but you still want to ask a question. That's totally fine as well. I will catch up with you guys next week, and remember, wanderers are always welcome.